Johanna, the festival in Helsinki I've always thought of as a great music and opera festival. But it's much more than that these days, isn't it?
Yes. We did start off as the Sibelius Festival. So, of course, national composer of Finland. So that implies that it was a classical music festival in the beginning. But little by little, and 55 years later, we are more and more into the multi-arts direction.
And your background's in theatre?
Theatre and opera, yes. I'm a stage director by origin.
And what operas have you directed?
Suor Angelica by Puccini, for instance, at the National Opera. That was one of my favorites. I love early opera as well, Monteverdi, Orfeo, and I've also done a fair amount of contemporary works, to mention a few.
And we were talking about Sibelius then as being, the national composer, and somehow, there's the Sibelius Academy, and somehow so much revolves around Sibelius in Finland. But the contemporary composers, and just so many other composers, Esa-Pekka Salonen and Rautavaara, and all those wonderful
Magnus
composers
Lindberg,
too.
yes. Kaija Saariaho, absolutely. I mean, of course, we love our Sibelius, but we have a lot more going for us as well.
And are you programming some contemporary composers?
Oh yes. We are programming both international and also Finnish contemporary composers. We have also some new work commissioned from both Finnish, and also we're co-commissioning a new piece, for instance, this year by David Lang, which is receives its European premiere in Helsinki.
And what about the Finnish composers? Who are you booking?
So we have two premieres this year. One is an organ concerto from Maija Hynninen, and the other one is orchestral work for orchestra and soprano by Sauli Zinoviev. So two wonderful composers born in the 80s and 70s respectively. I'm not sure we can call them extremely young anymore, but they are younger than...
In their prime.
In their prime, and younger than Sibelius.
Yes, exactly. The festival, when does it happen?
So it's the second half of August, 18 consecutive days. And then some years we're also going into September, but this year we're staying in August.
You don't do the Midsummer Festival when it never gets dark?
Yes, that would be lovely, but nobody really is in Helsinki at that point. They're all in their summer cottages, so we like August very much. It's very vital.
And do you use mainly the big institutional venues, or do you use some of the more fringe ones?
We don't go extremely fringe because we like to think of ourselves as being quite accessible, meaning that our venues tend to be starting with 300-400 rather than 30 or 40, and then we go up to 1,700 with the Music Center of Helsinki, and also our own venue, Huvila, which we build every year by the sea. And so we also have the dance house, which is 700 people in the audience capacity, and so it's a mix of both, but I would say that we don't do anything very small.
Tell me about the venue by the sea.
Well, it's been there for 30 years this year, and people, when we have surveys for audience participants, they always mention how unique they feel that the spirit of that space is. It is, technically speaking, a tent, but calling it a tent sounds a little bit maybe makeshift.
It doesn't blow away.
Exactly. It's a huge operation, of course, to build it. As I said, it seats, if everybody's sitting, then it's 1,300, and if it's a standing crowd, then it's 1,700. And we've also received very good feedback from artists from abroad, and they keep mentioning the Huvila venue. Angelique Guidjo was just the other year, she was mentioning it along with I think the Carnegie Hall or whatever else she put on the list. So that was great.
What sort of events do you put in there?
It's music mostly, sometimes some speaking events, but first and foremost it's music with a sort of popular slant, world music, sometimes soul, jazz, even heavy metal music. We do occasionally do classical music concerts there as well. For instance, this year we have Bryce Dessner along with Australian String Quartet and Anastasia Kobekina, Fleur Baron. So that's a concert with a sort of classical edge to it, but in general it tends to be our non-classical venue.
And do you use the sea at all? I mean, do you put things on boats or go out to the islands? Or?
Well, this year we don't put anybody on a boat, but if we look into the history of the Helsinki Festival, as I said, it's 55 years, so there have been all kinds of enterprises also. But I would say in general, the feeling of Helsinki, you cannot take away the sea out of it. It's a pivotal part of it.
And being a festival in a capital city is always quite difficult to sort of carve yourself out from the main program of the year. What do you think are your main ways of doing that, of making it distinctive?
Well, I have to say that volume is one. We are the biggest multi-arts festival in Finland, and so just the sheer amount of wonderful things that are going on is one. Of course, we have means and ways to bring international, larger scale orchestras and dance companies, for instance, that wouldn't be easy at all for on a year-round basis. I'm not saying we're the only ones who are doing it, but we are certainly the biggest one.
And is your support mainly from the city or from the state?
More from the city, some from the state. We do rely quite heavily also on ticket income, and we have a foundation which is supporting especially orchestra and dance productions from abroad. And then, of course, a mix of also sponsorships and merchandise and all that.
Of course, Sibelius is still in copyright, so where does his money go?
Well, not for long.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, we do have actually we have a little bit of Sibelius this year as well. But his ancestors have also been part of our festival.
His descendants, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah,
Yes.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Got that one wrong.
Yes.
Yes.
And what doing? What were they doing?
Well, for instance, the great grandson is he's a composer and
Right.
also a bass player, and he put on a huge show last year with kind of outdoor bass with almost 100 bass players playing outdoors. So the spirit of Sibelius.
Is he called Sibelius?
No.
He's not.
Yeah.
Probably just as well, because
Yes.
otherwise it would be a big burden to carry.
Exactly.
Wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yes. It'd be like being the other Bach. You know?
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Better that way. Yeah.
Yes. What sort of relationship do you have with the other cities around and the other festivals around in Finland? Because it's a very much a festival country. I mean,
Yes.
same population as here in Scotland, but an
Yes.
enormously vibrant scene.
Yeah. Well, if there are chances of collaborating, of course we do that. But when we are finding synergies, it tends to be with other countries in the area, because of course Finland is not a huge country, and so if we put on somebody in Helsinki and we have the other towns a few hours away, then of course we are a little bit in competition for the same audiences, to be honest. And so, but we do have collaboration throughout Finland as well.
And what about with Estonia, with Tallinn, and across and over in Sweden?
Yes, absolutely. We've, for instance, collaborated with the Baltic Sea Festival in Sweden, and with Estonia. This year we have several actually performances. Some of them so large scale, coming from Estonia, and so it's an ongoing dialogue. We have. This year we have guests from Sydney, Australia, and then from Tallinn, Estonia, and everything in between. And so that it's about as far as you can go from Finland and as close as you can go.
And when you're doing the theatre plays, are they mainly in Finnish, or do you do some in Swedish? Do you do some in Estonian?
Our programming tends to be international by scope. I mean, never say never. We do sometimes also have Finnish works, but it's mostly international.
It's mostly in English.
All languages, and then we deal with of course, the subtitles, surtitles on a case-to-case basis. Sometimes it's on stage, sometimes it's in an app. There are other. Sometimes it's written on paper. There are many ways.
Finland has, always been that border country in many ways with the old Soviet Union and now with Russia.
Yes.
How does that impact what you do there?
Well, it's a blessing and a curse. I mean, we are, of course, we're close to the Baltics. We're close to Scandinavia. I think there are very close ties in many ways. But then, of course, it has its implications also, to say the least.
Yes. And have you noticed over the last few years, I mean, while the Ukrainian war's been going on, that things have shifted in Finland in any way?
Well, definitely, of course, the collaboration and the exchange with one of our neighbors has, of course, ceased completely, and so that has been a big change.
Yes, exactly. What can you say about how you feel you're taking what direction do you feel you're taking the festival in now?
Well, for me, the word multi-art is very important in our title. Of course, predominantly we are doing music, as mentioned, but for me, it's very important also to have productions which cross through several boxes and also mix the different art forms. Also, for me, it's important not to just be in the very nuclear center of Helsinki, which of course is accessible to some people, but then sort of foreign territory to others. And so we were hearing yesterday about Edinburgh and how there were youngsters who maybe had never been to the center. And so I think in some way it's the same in Helsinki. And so for me it's also important to be not only in the center, where we are of course a strong presence, but also a little bit on the outskirts.
Tell me a bit more about that. What do you actually do out there?
Well, for instance, this year we have a dance production by a French street dance company who works with teenagers, and they will present the work in 3 different parts of Helsinki, parts which don't necessarily always have so much cultural events going on. And also one of the international theater productions we're also bringing to slightly more remote from the center, remote venue.
Do you do a lot of street art or street shows?
Yeah, we have a very big sort of main production. We have what we call the Night of the Arts, sort of a Nuit Blanche type of night which starts the festival. And so we always start with a big outdoors event, and the base spectacle that I was just mentioning earlier with the great grandson of Sibelius. That was last year, and this year we have for the whole family actually a Belgian theater slash circus slash music spectacle for that slot.
Sounds great. Thank you very much.
Thank
indeed.
you. Thank you.